It usually happens in the middle of an ordinary day. You are walking through the house, thinking about groceries, work, or the quiet rhythm of evening, and there it is. A toy at your feet, a crumpled sock, a leaf from outside, maybe even something so strange you can't quite name it at first. Your cat appears beside it with that calm, unreadable face, as if the whole moment had been planned long before you noticed. For a second, you wonder, what does this mean? Is this play? Is this a gift? Is my cat trying to tell me something? Cats have a way of turning the smallest gesture into a mystery. They do not explain themselves the way people do. They do not announce affection in plain language. Instead, they leave clues. A soft object dropped by the bed. A proud walk across the hallway with a toy clenched in the mouth. A tiny offering placed exactly where you will step over it. And because it looks so intentional, it feels like communication. In a way, it is. To understand a cat's behavior, you have to slow down enough to meet it on feline terms. Cats live in a world shaped by instinct, memory, territory, and delicate bonds. What looks random to us often carries an older logic beneath it. A cat that brings you something may be acting from hunting drive, from social learning, from excitement, or from the quiet need to engage you in a familiar ritual. Sometimes it is instinct speaking. Sometimes it is affection wearing the mask of play. Sometimes it is a message as simple as, "Notice me." And that is what makes this behavior so fascinating. It sits at the intersection of wild nature and domestic intimacy. Your cat is not just dropping an object on the floor. It is participating in a relationship. A small, wordless exchange. A signal that says your presence matters, your response matters, this shared space matters. Once you begin to see it that way, the mystery becomes richer, not smaller. If you've ever smiled, laughed, or felt strangely honored by one of these little deliveries, you are already part of the conversation. And if you've ever wondered whether you should encourage it, ignore it, or interpret it differently, stay with me. Because what your cat is really saying may be more layered than you think. What looks like a simple drop at your feet is often the end of a very old story. In your cat's mind, the house is not just a home. It is a landscape of roots, memories, instincts, and chosen people. So when that small toy lands beside your chair, it may not be random at all. It may be your cat's version of speaking in the only language that has always felt natural. Action. Imagine the quiet of an afternoon. The light is soft and soft. Then comes the familiar sound of something skidding across the floor. Your cat appears, tail held with quiet confidence, as if carrying out an important mission. Maybe it is a plush mouse, maybe a bottle cap, maybe something that should never have been dragged out of the laundry basket. You look down, and for a moment, the entire moment feels strangely ceremonial. Because in a way, it is. Cats do not give gifts the way humans do. They do not think in speeches or symbols the same way we do, but they do repeat what works. If bringing an object earns attention, excitement, praise, or even a startled laugh, the behavior becomes part of their social map. They learn that this act changes the room. It draws you in. It makes you look, respond, and participate. And for a creature built to notice patterns, that matters deeply. But there is more beneath the surface. A cat who brings you a toy may be practicing hunting behavior, especially if it is playful, energetic, or followed by pouncing and circling. Another cat may be sharing prey-like items as a social gesture, the feline equivalent of saying, "This belongs in our space." And sometimes, the message is even simpler and more personal. "Why want you involved? I want us to do something together." Not every offering is a trophy. Not every object is about conquest. Sometimes it is about connection. This is why the same action can feel puzzling and touching at once. One cat leaves a toy at your door every morning like clockwork. Another carries a strange sock from room to room, meowing as if announcing a discovery. Another drops a feather wand beside your slippers and stares at you with those steady, unreadable eyes. In each case, the message may be different, but the thread is the same. Your cat is trying to create a moment with you. And if you've ever paused to smile, answered softly, or reached down to play, you may already know the power of that moment. So what is your cat really asking for when it brings you something? Attention? Play? A place in your world? The answer may be more revealing than you think, and in the next part, we'll uncover how your reaction quietly shapes the meaning behind the gift. When a cat drops a toy at your feet, it rarely happens by accident. There is intention in that little movement, a quiet certainty in the way they place the object before you and wait. In that moment, your home becomes more than a home. It becomes part den, part hunting ground, part stage for a relationship that is older than words. Your cat is not simply being cute, and it is not a request for food. Sometimes, it is instinct speaking through behavior, a deep pattern inherited from a life shaped by motion, pursuit, and the need to share the outcome of that effort. Think about how often people misunderstand this moment. A cat carries a sock through the hallway, or leaves a feather toy beside the bed, and the human laughs, sighs, or quickly picks it up and moves on. But to the cat, your reaction matters. If the object disappears without acknowledgement, the message may feel unfinished. If you respond with excitement, your cat may learn that this is a powerful way to reach you. Cats are not manipulative in the human sense, but they are excellent observers. They notice what opens your attention, what invites your voice, what makes you stop scrolling, stand up, and enter their world for a second. And sometimes that is exactly the point. Not the toy itself, but the bridge it creates. There is something almost tender in this behavior. A cat who brings you an object may be saying, in the only language available to them, "I see you as part of my life." In the wild, shared movement can strengthen trust. In a home, the meaning evolves, but the need remains. A cat may be inviting play, rehearsing hunting behavior, or offering a small symbolic gift. Or perhaps it is simply asking for connection in a way that feels safer than direct vulnerability. After all, a cat does not come to you with explanations. It comes with action, with posture, with the subtle drama of placing something at your feet and looking up as if to ask, "Do you understand me now?" If you've ever watched your cat do this, you know how strangely moving it can be. One minute you are in an ordinary afternoon, the next you are part of a private ritual that has unfolded thousands of times across feline history. And the more carefully you observe, the more you begin to see that every dropped toy, every carried object, every strange little offering is carrying more than weight. It is carrying meaning. If this has happened in your home too, you were not alone. And in a moment, the next part will show you how your response can quietly shape whether this behavior grows stronger, softens, or becomes a deeper bond between you and your cat. There is something almost theatrical in the way a cat places a toy at your feet, not with urgency, not with confusion, but with quiet confidence, as if he has delivered a message you are meant to understand. In that moment, the ordinary room, the hallway, the kitchen floor, the edge of the bed, all of it becomes part of a deeper language. And if you pause long enough, you begin to see that your cat is not simply dropping an object. He is entering a conversation. For some cats, this begins in the body before it ever reaches the mind. A toy becomes prey. A ball becomes a hunt. A crumpled sock becomes a captured prize. The instinct is old, older than the house, older than the person watching with a puzzled smile. Even when a cat has never needed to hunt for food, the choreography remains alive inside him. He stalks, he pounces, he carries, he pounces. It is not random at all. It is memory made visible. And yet instinct is only part of the story. Cats are astonishing observers. They learn what gets your attention. If you laugh, speak softly, bend down, or begin a game every time they bring you something, the behavior becomes reinforced. Not because the cat is being manipulative in a human sense, but because he is learning a pattern. This action changes the world. This action makes you look at me. This action brings us together. Sometimes, too, the meaning is more tender than people expect. A cat that brings you a toy may not be offering tribute as much as connection. He may be saying, in the only way that feels natural to him, I want interaction. I feel safe enough to share my world with you. For many cats, carrying an object across the house is not just about play. It is a small bridge between solitude and companionship, built one quiet step at a time. And then there are the moments that feel almost philosophical. The cat with the odd leaf, the bottle cap, the invisible treasure only he seems to value. We look at these offerings and try to translate them into human affection, hunt, need. But perhaps the real message is simpler and deeper. Your cat is not hiding his nature from you, he is revealing it. In his own way, he is asking to be witnessed. If your reaction has ever shaped the behavior, you are not alone. Many guardians accidentally strengthen the habit by making it exciting, rewarding, or dramatic. But the goal is never to silence the cat's instinct. It is to understand it, to answer without confusion, to meet him where instinct and relationship overlap. And once you begin to see that, every toy on the floor starts to mean something more. The question is no longer just why he brought it, but what kind of bond he is trying to build through it. And that is where the story becomes even more revealing. At first, it's easy to laugh it off. Your cat drops a crumpled toy at your feet, stares at you with those steady, ancient eyes, and suddenly the whole room feels strangely important. Maybe it's a little mouse toy in the hallway, maybe a sock, maybe something far less charming found under the couch. But in that moment, your cat is not being random. In its own language, something meaningful is happening. Cats do not give the way people give. They do not carry objects across the house because they want applause in the human sense. And yet there is often a quiet expectation in their posture, in the way they pause after the drop, in the way they wait. Sometimes it is the echo of hunting instinct, a practice act dressed as affection. Sometimes it is a learned ritual, repeated because one day you reacted with surprise, laughter, or delight. And sometimes, more deeply, it is a social gesture. A cat that brings something to you may be saying, in the only language it fully trusts, you are part of my world. Think about that for a moment. In the wild, a cat's behavior is shaped by survival, observation, and precision. In the home, those same instincts do not vanish. They soften, adapt, and attach themselves to the rhythms of daily life. Your living room becomes a territory. Your hands become part of the environment. Your attention becomes a resource. So when your cat places a toy at your feet, it may be reenacting the old architecture of hunting, but it may also be reaching for connection. Play, after all, is not trivial to a cat. It is rehearsal, confidence, communication. And this is where our response matters. If we rush to treat every gift as a performance, we may accidentally intensify the behavior without understanding it. If we ignore it completely, we may miss a chance to reinforce trust. The healthiest response is often the simplest. Acknowledge, observe, and meet the behavior with calm presence. A gentle word, a short play session, a quiet recognition that your cat is speaking in its own way. So the next time something appears at your feet, pause before you decide what it means. Ask yourself, is this a hunt, a bond, a habit, or a call for interaction? And more importantly, what happens to your cat after you respond? Because that answer reveals far more than the object ever could. If this strange little ritual has ever happened in your home, you are not alone. Cats around the world are telling their stories one toy, one feather, one mysterious hallway offering at a time. And in the final part, we will bring all of this together so you can understand what your cat is really asking for and how to answer in a way that deepens the bond between you. So the next time your cat drops a toy at your feet, pauses in the hallway with something strange in its mouth, or proudly places a little gift where you're sure to notice it, don't rush to call it random. In that small, quiet act, there may be instinct, memory, trust, and a very feline kind of communication all at once. Your cat is not speaking in words, but it is speaking. And when you begin to understand that language, Even a simple stuffed mouse on the floor can feel like something much larger, an invitation, a signal, a thread of connection. Sometimes the message is practical. Sometimes it is playful. Sometimes it is rooted in the ancient hunter that still lives beneath the softness of the domestic cat. And sometimes, perhaps more often than we realize, it is deeply social. A cat may be saying, "I want to share this with you," or "Notice me," or even, "This is how I bring myself closer to your world." What looks odd from our human perspective can be a form of belonging from theirs. That is what makes cats so endlessly fascinating. They do not offer affection in the ways we expect. They offer it in the ways they are, and your response matters. A calm reaction, a gentle acknowledgement, a moment of play, or even a simple word of appreciation can shape what your cat learns from that exchange. The goal is not to eliminate the behavior, but to understand it, to meet instinct with respect, to meet communication with curiosity. When you do that, you protect your cat's emotional world while also strengthening the quiet bond that already exists between you. Because at the heart of it, this is not really about toys or objects or even little gifts. It is about connection. It is about a creature that has chosen, in its own mysterious way, to bring something into your space and share it with you. And once you see that, the gesture changes. It stops being strange. It becomes intimate. If this helped you see your cat a little differently, give this video a like and tell me in the comments, what does your cat bring you most often? Toys, random objects, strange little treasures, or does your cat walk through the house meowing with something in its mouth like it has an important mission? And if you enjoy uncovering the hidden psychology behind feline behavior, subscribe, because there is so much more your cat has been trying to say.